Peace, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to the channel. Today on Single Dad Experience, I'm going to be talking about both of my babies' personalities. And what I mean by that are, in the beginning, when I had my kids and they was around their moms, you really couldn't tell too much about their personalities, because all my son did was just eat, sleep, and shit, and my daughter was just being a terror. But she was sweet and caring, super independent, which it might sound contradictory to what I just said, but that was just little traits that you seen. But the older she became, both of them, the more you started to see my daughter being a lot more independent, almost like a boss, but a bully boss. I know that sounds kind of funny, but like, she used to bully the hell out my son. But then my son, he was more like, he was lovable. He still is. Like, my man will smooth the hell out of your moms, your aunt, your sister, your cousin if it's a pretty ass. Like, my boy, I gotta keep an eye on him, cause he's a smooth little yellow boy. Yo, he's a smooth little homie, man. Like, you know what? My son is smooth as hell, like back in the day with the Billy D. Williams shit. Like, that Colt 45 works every time. That's my son. I lied to y'all not. Like, they both are funny as hell, but my son is a whole total a-hole. Yo, my son is a real live a-hole. Like, when I say we are some a-holes in this house for real, my daughter say something, my son will shut her down, but then he'll try to say something to me and I shut him down, and then I try to say something to her and then she'll shut me down. It's like, I love the fact that my babies are really in tune with each other, and I'm in tune with them, because a lot of us don't understand that. Like, matter of fact, I can't even say that. Most of us grew up being around our cousins and our uncles and our aunts and everybody that was in the family. Like, everybody that grew up in my era, we all had a grandmother who kind of kept the family together. Like, a structure that the foundation was your grandmother, or your grandmother and your grandfather, or your grandfather. It was somebody that was a significant elder in your family that held everything together. And what's crazy is, my family not a big family, because most of my family on my mom's side passed in the 90s. So it was like my grandfather in 90, my cousin in 91, my aunt in 92, like my uncle in 93. I might even had the years, but I know the whole, matter of fact, my whole 4 years in high school, it was somebody in my family that passed away every year. So I had, growing up, we had that bond, but it was like, once we got to like a certain year, and back in them days, HIV was like super high in the black community. So you always knew somebody who had something. And unfortunately, 3 people in my family, passed away from this tragic disease. And, it kind of, tore some of the family up, but I still got my moms and my aunt, which, they the elders of the family. But anyway, it is like, my babies don't have have an elder like that. So what I try to do is I try to learn as much as I can about both of their personalities, and I kind of give them an idea of what my personality is, because my mom's was real strict on discipline, and I kind of seem like I'm like my mom, but then I gotta remember that I like to play. I'm a play fiend, so I play with my babies like not like they my friends, because I tell them all the time, like, I'm not your friend, I'm your dad, number one. Everything else is a bonus, because I'm raising you, I take care of you, you know, all the good stuff that's underneath that umbrella. But on the other side, I don't think that being so serious with them is necessarily a good thing, because then they grow up being serious with their kids. Not saying that being serious is wrong, but you got to have a lighter side to you. And that's what I show my babies, is like, I do have a lighter side to me when it comes to them. So I like the fact that my babies think I'm the greatest thing in the world, man. And I love that, man. I love that, man. Like, it's funny how I can sit back and listen to my babies have a conversation, and they'll try to mimic me. Both of them, my son and my daughter. They crack me up with the "Daddy, this is how you talk." And I'm looking at them like, man, I can't do nothing but laugh, because it's really important that you get a chance to really see your babies grow up right before your eyes. And you kind of ask yourself these questions, especially those of us who haven't grew up with a father in our lives. It's like, damn, is this how I would have been with my dad if he was in my life? And I had to ask myself that question when I was just looking at them, like, oh man, how great would it have been for my pops to be in my life like I am with my babies. And it hurt, but you get over that hurt with the responsibility that you know you have when it comes to yours. So learning both of their personalities, how my daughter, she eats different from my son. My son eats everything but pork. You know, my daughter won't eat a damn thing, not even pork. I mean, she'll eat, but like, my daughter is super picky. I'm talking about when I gotta cook dinner, I cook something different from my daughter than I would for my son, because my son would eat what I would eat. But then I gotta kind of, let's make a deal with my daughter for her to eat some of the stuff that I eat. So I don't force nothing on her though, but I do give her a portion enough for her to eat, where when she eat it, she ain't wasting my money. My son ain't gonna waste my money, but my daughter, oh boy, let me tell you something. Listen, I made some cheesy eggs. My daughter was like, yes, daddy, I want some cheesy eggs too. Man, so me, my son, and my daughter eat some cheesy eggs, some turkey bacon, some toast. Like, we had a decent breakfast. Or I thought, until I go to my daughter's room, I'm helping her clean up, and I look at this bag on the door, and I said, hold the fuck up. I know these ain't no motherfucking cheesy eggs in this goddamn bag. And she looked at me like her whole soul jumped out her body and back in it again. She was like, yeah, I didn't want it. When I tell you the fire that was coming from my face when she said that, man, listen. Y'all know. I'm sure y'all know how I was feeling. I'm talking about fumes, fire, Satan, piss, any and everything was on fire, because my moms used to tell us the same shit. Do not waste my motherfucking food because I don't have money to throw away. Boy, I swear I sounded like my mom when I told my daughter the same fucking thing. And I had to stop and look at myself in the mirror and say, oh shit, Pan, did you just jump out of me for a hot minute? And reality, I came back to reality and I just said to my daughter, like, yo, all you had to do was just say, Daddy, I don't want none. Instead of saying, yes, Daddy, I want some. So now I had to readjust how much to give my daughter versus how much to give my son. My son will try to eat 2 plates, where my daughter would only eat 1 plate. But if it was something that she liked, like, oh man, she was on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was on it. But, you know, for the most part, I will say my daughter is more of the serious business type, and my son is more of the I'ma just fucking laugh, joke, and have fun type. And they both put together, oh my fucking gosh, how can I explain this? Both of them together is beautiful. It's like listening to B.B. King, Cab Calloway. Like, it's like listening